is a lie. Just because they write it down and call it history doesn't make it the truth. We live in a world where seeing is not believing. Where only a few know what really happened.
Ready when you are.
How's everyone doing?
Groovy. How are you?
Doing?
I'm fine. Kevin, you there?
Yeah, man, I'm here.
You know, it's funny. I'm here, people. Of course, we have the regular guys. I'm here with Kevin Baird, the Murph, known as Jason Murphy, and Nicky Pooh.
Oh, you got to stop doing that at one point before it catches on, you mug.
You know, you deserve it today. I did that on purpose because, you know, I told everybody we're going to record at 2 o'clock. And I'd be damned if right at 2, Nick comes in, he's like, "Oi, mate, I'm cooking some pasta right now. Could we perhaps wait another hour?" It's like, what?
I've been out all day, man. And then you just say, as soon as I get back, then I get all these emails like, "Oh yeah, we were recording at 2. We're recording." I was like, "Oh, fuck, no one told me." You know?
But you know what I hear, Nick? In the 21st century, we're going to have the ability to check email when we're not at home, like when we're on the go. I know it's crazy, like jetpacks and flying cars, but I'm really excited about it.
Oh, I know. My BlackBerry does this weird thing, on random days, it doesn't get all the emails until 2 days after, and then it just piles up on top of each other.
Thought you gonna be like my BlackBerry does this weird thing of not working sometimes. So, well,
Pretty
you're
much.
here now. Yeah, you're here, man. And you know, hey, look, we're glad to have you, Nick.
Thank you.
Nick, we just shit on Nick so much, man. You know, Nick, you're the youngest one. You said it yourself. Shit rolls downhill, man. We're just messing with you.
Yeah, as Wesley Snipes says, some motherfuckers always try I escaped uphill too.
Oh, look at him. Are you saying that because I'm black, Nick? Anyway.
Way to play the race card, Nick.
Yeah.
Can you blush?
You son of a bitch. Wait till I get a hold of your little ass. Anyway, today on the loading bar, because that's our official name now. I hope everybody's cool with that.
Is that nailed down?
That
For
is
the loading
nailed
bar?
down.
All right. I like it.
I do too. It kind of it sums us up completely in that, loading bar as in video games, and I think all of us are kind of alcoholic at some point in our lives, so it all
Especially
works.
me, so.
Oh yeah, especially you, man.
At some point.
You little limey bastard. But today on the loading bar, we're going to talk about Call of Duty. Look, I what's that?
Black Ops.
Call of Duty Black Ops, and I guess we're going to talk about, did the game live up to the hype? Because I mean, it really didn't do that well when it came out. It only sold like about 5.6 million, so it did pretty shitty when it came out.
No, it's doing well now. It outsold its predecessor, Modern Warfare 2.
Well, I was joking, man. Of course, I mean this
Oh, okay.
this is not on. Nick was taking me seriously, like no, but
Excuse me.
no, not only is this the most successful video game launch I think in history, but like as far as just entertainment goes, it's like one of the biggest launches ever, having sold that much within 24 hours. I think it's bigger than any kind of movie or anything. I mean, is that right, Kevin?
It's for a single day. Yeah, it's really successful. Yeah.
That is completely unwarranted.
Really?
Yes. It's a good game. It's cool. I mean, we'll get to that, but does it deserve to be the biggest one-day release ever? Hell no.
Okay, well,
Hell no.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about that, whether the game lived up to its hype in terms of gameplay, in terms of how it's done in sales, and we already have one answer right there. Hell no from Jason. not hell no like H-E-L-L, but hell no, however you spell that, H-E-Y-E-L-L-L. And then we're going to talk about, a lot of fun things surrounding the game. I mean, of course, we're going to talk about how the game plays and how we, give our own little personal reviews of it. But also, I mean, there's some interesting things going on in this game, man. Like, you get to play as Kennedy and Nixon and Robert McNamara and I think Castro in a zombie mode, and then. Shit got crazy in London on the game's release. Things got crazy even here in America, but I don't think it got as crazy as it did in London. And then we also experienced some glitches in the game. Now, whether that's a good or a bad thing, we're going to talk about that. But we had fun discussing that earlier on when we were playing the game and we were comparing notes. So a lot of stuff here to talk about. I think this is gonna be kind of fun. But Nick, you when you bought the game over in London, you almost got gang raped or something, right?
I wouldn't put it that far, but I feared for my life. Let's just say that.
He didn't have any money, so he had to work up some sort of trade system. And let's just say Nick really wanted Call of Duty.
Yeah, Nick had his ass bent over at the counter, huh? See something you like, huh? But what happened over there, man? It was somebody like almost burned out a GameStop or something.
No, I was at the shop called Game, and it was a midnight launch, and it was a Monday night. And usually when I go to midnight launches, nothing ever happens. But on this particular night, all the, football hooligans and, chavs and Jamaican rude boys just decided to come to this particular spot. So, and police had to be called in.
Like you're listing off gangs from Grand Theft Auto. You have to fight the Yardies, too?
We have Yardies in London, yeah.
I was thinking like the Warriors, you had people showing up like in Kiss makeup, or you had the guys dressed up like a Clockwork Orange and like white underwear and bowler hats on and shit.
Nick, come out and play. Nick gets his game and he's screaming, "Can you dig it?"
Yeah, he's on top of the building. Can you dig it? Get your ass down from under.
I'm more like saying, "Can I play it, please?"
Can I play it? But Nick, so what? How did that work out? Did people end up in fights? I mean, did it actually come to some physical altercations, or?
Well, no, there was a scuffle. What really happened was there was this massive queue, and at the stroke of midnight, we're all supposed to be going in, but there's something wrong with the tills inside. So after an hour's time, people get restless, as you can imagine. It's freezing cold in London and stuff. And then you got some drunk football hooligan guy who's probably just come back from a club or a pub or something like that, and he's just wanting to get his game. And he starts shouting, like, "I fucking had it with this fucking game shop, right? Can they fucking hear me in there?" And then this northern guy at the front goes, "Yeah, we can all fucking hear you in there." And he's like, "Just say that to my fucking face. I'll serve you up, mate, for no reason." And then the guy goes, "You couldn't serve your granny tea and fucking biscuits, you cunt." And then they just...
Oh, Jesus, Nick, you need to get that BlackBerry working. I wish you like got video of all this. But Nick was too busy probably hiding in a dumpster or something.
Mate, I was
sure
hiding...
Guy Ritchie will be making the film version of Nick's trip to the game store pretty soon.
I was hiding my BlackBerry, my iPods, like everything. I was just trying to make inconspicuous because I didn't want them to all unite against their common enemy, which is the middle class people.
Oh, they deserve it.
It's like, "Oi, he's a posh boy, get him!"
That's right, because you live in the same neighborhood as you telling me this, and I think we talked about it before. But you live in the same neighborhoods like Sting and Tim Burton and all that kind of shit, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you could have ran and hid in Tim Burton's castle if you were running fast enough.
I would rather stay with the Yardies than the football hooligans. But so finally we get inside, and then I'm thinking, okay, we're nearly out, and then the manager goes, "Oh, by the way, people, there's been some muggings, so you be careful on your way home." I'm like, okay, maybe they're saying that just to be careful. Like, go outside, and there's like 3 squadrons of police cars, and they're all wearing stab-proof vests. I'm like, oh shit, I'm never gonna get home. I'm never going out for another midnight launch ever again.
Nick made it home, but he was robbed of everything but his underwear. But he was still clutching that copy of Black Ops. He's all beat up and bleeding and shit. I made it. Oh, thank you, Jesus, I made it.
And then he traded it for gas and water so that he could get through the barricade and fight Lord Humongous.
Just give me the copy of Black Ops and walk away. But
I'll spare your lives.
No, Nick would be the one. Nick would be the one shackled to the back of Lord Humongous's motorcycle.
he'd be the girlfriend.
This is Nicky Poo. He brings me video games.
And I hope you guys appreciate the sacrifices I make to do this fucking show.
I do, man. We do. We love you, Nick. That's
if you weren't here, we'd just do it anyway.
He brings me video games, and I give him protection.
This show would suffer from the lack of class and sophistication that I bring.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's exactly it, man. Thank God for you. But there is you're the wind beneath my wings, Nick. in Maryland, not only did shit get crazy in London, but did everybody hear about this in Maryland? Like, some people broke into, or someplace outside of Maryland, some people broke into a GameStop and stole more than 100 copies of Black Ops and then got away.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Kevin, like breaking with AK-47s or something. Like, how well was this orchestrated?
In Baltimore, I think they did the whole, finger in your pocket type thing. Stick them up.
I'm just trying to think about how disappointed they were once they got back with all of them and they ripped one open and played it, and they were like, "Oh, this wasn't worth like our time." Yeah.
They realized, oh wait, Infinity Ward didn't do this one. Oh shit!
Shucks. They didn't even do that. They say that probably these guys went on eBay and sold their copies on there. So, which, I mean, I guess they said that there's more. It was more than what? If that's 100 copies, I guess it's like $6,000, more than $6,000 worth of merchandise stolen from the place. Plus, they stole some old consoles and stuff like that. So I don't think these guys have been caught yet. But it's crazy out there how the launch of this big game, man, and how the stuff gets out there.
Why does no one ever do this for Grand Theft Auto? Like, that would have made sense to me, not bloody, a military first-person shooter.
Well, they wait for hookers to buy those video games, and they beat them up and steal the game from them.
For a bunch of kids to do it with, like, Pokemon Platinum DX Plus, whatever the hell, one of the other Pokemon Precious Metal games.
Yeah, you think about it, it's like, why'd they go through the trouble? I just punched a 16-year-old kid in the stomach for my copy, and
right.
He didn't say shit, so.
Like, listen, like, if you can take Nick, you can get a copy of
Yeah, he'll just go and buy another one.
Shut off, guys.
Hey, Nick, I didn't say it this time. That was him.
Is there like a big street hustle for like Activision games too? Like, do you just walk by some guy and he's like, "Hey, I got your Black Ops."
Yeah, it's just dickheads in London, man. Like, they just want to fight whenever they get the chance. They just love fighting for some reason.
Yeah, and here and over in Maryland, especially around Baltimore, shit is crazy around there anyway. I mean, if you've seen The Wire, they'll
that's right.
They'll break into a Jack in the Box and steal 100 hamburgers just for the hell of doing it. They don't give a shit.
Maybe it's organized by the British black guy. Craziness of London.
Idris Elba, yeah, your boy, yeah. But here in Austin, we didn't have any craziness. But I do have to admit that I was surprised at how long the lines were to buy the game when I went into the GameStop near me to get the game. It's a small store. It's a cracker box, so it's not that crazy that the line is outside. But I did wait outside for about 5 minutes, and I was like, damn, this takes me back to the days of like waiting for the big blockbuster movie to come out. So games are up there, man. They've made it. If there's no further proof with the sales of this game and the anticipation and people waiting in lines, I mean, games have probably not only finally caught up with movies, but far exceeding them as far as sales and anticipation goes.
Yeah, well, you got to think about how much time people spend with a movie versus how much time people spend with a game. I mean, as a product, you spend 2 hours with a movie, and if you really like it, maybe you'll go see it a couple of times and buy the DVD. But overall, most people spend more time with one video game than they do any movie. And people who are into video games.
Yeah.
It's like, because I spent all Saturday playing Call of Duty, and on single player and multiplayer. And even movies that I love, I only watch them a couple of times, and I've already exceeded like the hours that I've invested in movies that I've seen and really, really liked in the last 2 years.
Yeah, people spend some time with one single video game than they do with their families. So sometimes, But
movies have a lot of legs. Like 20 years from now, somebody's still going to be watching Avatar. 20 years from now, probably nobody's going to be playing Black Ops.
That is the most depressing thing I have heard in I don't know how long.
I just crushed him right there. Yeah, you're right. In 20 years, people are going to be holding that box and being like, oh, what the fuck am I supposed to play this on?
Yeah. Well, there's a market, of course, for vintage games. I pick them up and play them and collect them to some extent, quite a bit. I've got a big stack of Atari games. That said, though, when I go back and play them, I'm like, God, this is shit. Like, I would put up with anything when I was a kid to play a video game.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
And now I go back and put it in, and I'm just like, oh, God.
It just reminded you how much investment you put into the box cover art. Instead, when you got home, you really had to use your imagination. You took what you saw in that box and visualized it, and then just planted that on whatever you saw on the screen, because it really, when you look at today it's just fucking block.
It's and the other thing too is like you wonder how you had the patience to play some of those games. Like you're like, how did I get through this? Because I cannot play this game now. Like, you know, it's so frustrating now. But when I was a kid, I could just I could just put up with it. Things would just roll off of me, you know.
Well, sure. You're an adult now, Kevin. You know, you got to be careful with your time. I mean, you got much more commitments to deal with, and to sit down and try to play a game like you did when you were 14. It's just
And I know people probably tired of hearing this, but a lot of the listeners might not realize games back in the day, before some of you were even born, were goddamn hard.
And back in the day, don't even talk about I got to the end, because games never ended. You just kept playing until you would sit up there drooling and your eyes were bloodshot, wondering where the end was going to be, but it was just infinite. So yeah.
Oh,
what the hell? Where are you? You fucking in the Caribbean?
Kevin calling from a Carnival cruise.
Kevin sitting up there playing some fucking steel drums. Got a straw hat on and shit.
He's about to get his hair braided.
But anyway,
listeners, go back if you never have. Find a way to play Contra. And you think you're good at games? You think you can own some punk bitch noobs on Halo? Play Contra and have your dignity handed to you, because it will punish you. There was no saving. You could do the secret trick to get 30 men, but sometimes even that wouldn't help.
Oh yeah. The time when you had limited guys and all that kind of, you had to make that shit work. This whole thing of like, okay, I'll just start over and respawn at this spot or this checkpoint. No, fuck, back then you had 3 men. You had to make the best of those 3 guys.
Yeah,
so.
You had to sit down and play it all in a single sitting and remember everything. It was all about memorizing exactly when something jumped out at you.
Plus, all of the years of like controller refinement didn't exist. So you would just be like, they would be like really dubious rules, like, press once to fire or hold the button down to jump or something. And it never worked right. You just like, this is horrible. But
by the way, kids, Kevin, Jason, and we're sitting on rocking chairs on a porch right now, reminiscing about the
yeah, you pretty much are. I'm just like, what the fuck is Contra?
I am sipping a mint julep and waiting for that one to come on.
And meanwhile, I'm having a sexy nurse change my colostomy bag right now, so with my controller in hand. But something, I have to look at this game, no matter what it will be like in 20 years or how it compares to games back then. I mean, looking at this and this really is say what you will about all the hype behind the game, but it is a great looking game, man. So the developer, what is Treyarch for this?
Treyarch.
Yeah. And the distributor is Activision. All I can say is the guys who made Modern Warfare are looking at this and saying fuck. I mean, this is the shooter of the year, the military shooter of the year. I mean, a lot of people saying game of the year. That's debatable because it depends on what you like to play and what category you like. But the money is there. I mean, I'm looking at this, and this game is so slick. I mean, this is the equivalent of the big blockbuster movie of the year for games. I don't know what you guys thought about that, but
you see the guys in Medal of Honor like, oh, that's how we're supposed to make a shooter. Okay,
Did I say Modern Warfare? I meant Medal of Honor. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't even know what they were thinking about trying to come out so close to this game, because this is a great looking game. This as far as the gameplay goes in it and the gameplay behind it. Well, the story is. Let me just preface it with this. I don't know if I'm the best one to really talk about this game, because as I keep saying with a lot of these shooters, I wasn't into shooters when I was playing a lot of games. I was into some. But especially military shooters, I was not. So I've hardly played any of the Call of Duty games. In fact, I haven't played any of the Call of Duty games. This is my first one.
Oh, you broke your cherry. All right.
Yes, it did.
How was it? Was it good?
I'm still bleeding. But I was really impressed, man. It was a lot of fun. I was surprised at how easy I was able to fall into it. You know, I don't know what I was thinking before getting into a military shooter. I thought it would just be a little more complicated. Maybe it's just because of my interest in these kind of games.
Yeah, you do something wrong, and they're like, do push-ups, and you got
Right.
that was the wrong thing, you know.
Yeah, drill sergeant comes out of the screen and beats the shit out of you.
Well, that's one of the things that kind of surprised me, and maybe I just missed it or skipped it or something, but it didn't really go through any of the tutorial stuff on like how to duck, how to dive, how to do this. It was just kind of expected you to know what the buttons were, right?
Well, yeah, but it's such a big game that it's exactly the same control system as all the other Call of Duty games, and they're the best-selling games ever.
And not only that, but it's the same kind of control scheme as it is with a lot of games like this. I mean, Medal of Honor had a similar system compared to this, so it's not that much of a reach if you're used to playing these kind of games.
I think they need to set these controls in stone, mandated by law, so that whenever I'm running around trying to reload my gun because I'm still thinking Battlefield Bad Company 2 controls, I end up falling on the ground. Got a bunch of guys run up on me. What do? I just lay face down on the ground. I'm sorry.
Jason is actually laid on his floor in the fetal position, just waiting to get kicked the shit out of. Right. Stop, please, don't hurt me. Your girlfriend comes in like, what are you doing? Get up.
Or I try to duck and I end up dropping a grenade at my feet.
That was the biggest problem for me in these kind of games. It's like I like to configure my control scheme, and sometimes I accidentally throw grenades at my own guys instead of throwing them where I'm supposed to throw them. So I'm still getting used to these kind of control schemes myself. But I don't know what the other stories were like in previous games, but man, they even got Hollywood talent for this game. Now we're going to talk about some of the voices in a little while, but for the single player campaign in this, brought in a script written by David S. Goyer, huge script writer in Hollywood. I think
I didn't know that.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, he did. He wrote the script for Blade 2, which is my favorite film ever.
And he also helped with Batman. I know he did Dark Knight for sure. Yeah, the guy's written tons of stuff. I mean, he's either written whole scripts or he's assisted on or come in and done rewrites or lent his talents to others' big-time scripts. And, let's also keep in mind that he directed Blade 3, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah. So the thing about David S. Goyer is he's very hit and miss. Like, he's either really awesome on a project or it's really shit. So.
Yep.
Well, being that this is a video game, I don't think it actually... I don't think it challenged his talents too much. And I'm not talking about video game writing as in whole as bad. I'm not even saying this game is written bad. But what you have here... Now, I don't know what the other games, the time setting for them was, for sure.
This is a big departure from the other Call of Duty games.
Oh, it is?
Huge departure as far as story and everything goes.
So the other games were set in, I know we had Modern Warfare that just recently came out, which, of course, was set in present times, hence Modern Warfare. But before then, they were set, World War II?
Mostly World War II.
Yeah, this is the first Treyarch game that's set outside World War II. And in fact, this game is a direct sequel to World at War, which was the last game that these guys made. Right. Like you'll see some of the characters from World at War in this one again, which is quite cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
This one is set in during the Cold War, I think starting in 1968.
No,
1963.
Was it?
Okay.
Oh yeah, because that's right. It starts out with it starts out in 1963 with the Bay of Pigs.
Bay of Pigs,
yeah. It's right before the whole Bay of Pigs incident happens, and so you play, and again they change perspectives in this game, but most of the time you play a character by the name of Mason, who you're a Black Ops guy. You're sent to go in and assassinate Castro, and from there it kicks off a whole chain of events. You figure out that there's this chemical warfare thing being developed. You have this ally who is this Russian who might be on your side, but also might be working against you. You don't know. And you start out the game being tied to a chair where a mysterious figure in a voice is trying to get information from you, and your character doesn't know what they want. He doesn't even know where he is. And the game is played through the memories, mostly through the memories of the character Mason, as he starts to recall different incidents leading up to, I guess, the events in 1968, and him having to find some sort of numbers or something they need to prevent some worldwide strike happening.
And now wait a few moments, let him rest. This should help you remember everything. Giving you something extra to assist. Let's go through it again. The pain is difficult, isn't it? When he regains consciousness, double the voltage. We need to bring him back.
So it's a pretty ambitious script. Did I get that right, by the way?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's a lot more involved and personal than the other Call of Duties, because those were all such big scale, and this really does deal with some, huge international incidents, but it feels a lot more personal because it focuses more of the story on Mason and what he's going through, and it's crafted so well. You mentioned how you're always you're wondering whose side Reznov is really on, and I think it does that very effectively in that whenever he shows up, the story is crafted well enough that when he's there, it kind of raises an eyebrow like, wait, why does he keep showing up? And it's not just poor storytelling. It's, okay, there is something to him, and why is he here?
yeah, it gets real complicated, and it starts to like lend itself just outside of just a war story almost. I mean, it's when you look at it, without spoiling too much, it's cool, and it's also derivative of a lot of things we see in Hollywood. I mean, they use these plot devices that are kind of getting old now, different twists and things that happen. But for a video game, it's still kind of ambitious, especially for a game like this. And they also just flat out rip off some things from Vietnam era war movies. So
That's good though. I mean, they always did that. Like in the original Call of Duty game for the PC, they paid homage to the Siege of Stalingrad in the film Enemy at the Gates, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's the thing with war games. It's really kind of sad, but they're all rehashing, a lot of them anyway. And they don't completely do that, but they all rehash scenes from famous war movies.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then it's not always like that, like I was saying, but when they do it, it's glaringly obvious. Like Nick said, playing Enemy of the State was fantastic, but it was still very obvious what it was, and then the original Medal of Honor, how it stole liberally from Saving Private Ryan and all of those.
From a storytelling standpoint, it is derivative, but from a video game standpoint, well, the argument can be made, well, I've seen it before. Now I'm actually living out those scenes. I'm playing in those scenes in a video game, so it's not so bad. It's almost like interacting with the film in ways that I never have been able to do before.
Well, I think interacting is kind of a stretch though, because you're basically just running around shooting guys in the face. I mean, the storyline's kind of going on, but the game is so linear and so directed and scripted that you basically can only do the one thing that they want you to do as you die.
It gives you the illusion. It gives you the illusion of choice, like press A here or the game's over.
You have no real options. I mean, like in the beginning of the game, you have to push that mining cart, and they're like, get behind the mining cart. If you don't get behind the mining cart, you die.
Yeah, well, because they got machine gunners. I mean, like that makes sense, though. I mean, did that bother you? That
that the game is completely linear and scripted, and that I could only do specific things. Yes.
How would you have gone up past the machine gun nest without the mining cart? I'm just curious. Because
they could, just like most other games. I mean, they can present you with other choices. I mean, if they put you in they put you in a machine gun nest, but every element of the game is like that. I mean, if you want to say this one scenario would have been, okay, I have to go behind the mining cart because of the machine guns, even though all the Russian guys are standing around, like not getting shot somehow, but I'm going to get shot and get killed.
Well, they didn't do that though, because all the people behind the mining carts were okay, but everyone else who was charging were all getting mowed down. Was very same with Ryan-esque.
The guards could just stand there and shoot at you. And line up like a parade for you to shoot them one at a time as you came down.
But the machine gun, why would the machine gun nests shoot at their own guys?
Well, right, but if you're in front of their guys, are they going to shoot their own guys to get? I mean, we could argue about this all day, but every element of the game is like this, so you never have any choices.
Well, you're right, Kevin. It's kind of like I hear a lot of people complaining about games being on rails. I mean, they even that was one of the complaints about some of the things that you saw in Medal of Honor, the last Medal of Honor game.
All games don't have to not be on rails, though, really. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and that was something where it kind of gave you the illusion of choice in this. But it's like, if a game is linear, it's, not everything is a sandbox. It's not like in Galaga, it's like, there's got to be another way. Do I have to shoot all of these alien ships? Maybe I can negotiate with them, board their ships, and take over their colonization.
It's a genre. I mean, like, there are different genres of games, like different genres of movies. Like, if I wanted a game that was very interactive, I would play Mass Effect or something like that. Whereas this game, I just want to, just go on a very linear path and enjoy the story and, the atmosphere of a real wartime situation, which Medal of Honor did not have. It was always just you and 3 other guys attacking, like, hundreds of Taliban, like they were ants. Whereas in this, you're seeing people being mowed down, planes blowing up, and just skimming over the top of your car. It's very, very exciting. This, very Michael Bay.
Yeah, but you're kind of just watching it happen. You're having no impact on any of it. The guys you're with will just sit there and shoot, and then you'll move forward, and you'll get to a certain checkpoint area, and then they move forward. Otherwise, they just waste their ammunition shooting at walls over and over again. I mean,
right? Yeah.
Well, Kevin,
it has to be Grand Theft Auto. But it has no dynamics to it at all. It's just run, shoot, run, shoot, run, shoot.
Well, Kevin, let me ask you this. As I said, I hadn't played any of the previous games. Were the previous games also as linear as this one?
For the most part, yeah.
All of them are linear.
Okay.
I mean,
so the only complaint would be is if they changed it up where you could, if you had free roaming in the other games and then all of a sudden you come here and it's all on rails or it's linear or whatever, then that might be a problem. But it seems like people know what they're getting into.
I would say that the second one had a lot more open-endedness. I don't want to say all of them because you could go into different buildings and things and kind of around and decide how you're going to take out guys within the different buildings.
When you said second one, which game were you referring to?
Call of Duty 2.
Oh, Call of Duty 2. Okay. All right.
Yeah. But here it's like it's so isolated. You're so locked down. You have to do very specific things. You're a puppet, and if you don't do it, you either just wait around while the guy just berates you. Come on, hurry up, come on, let's go, let's do it.
Friendly fire. Watch yourself, soldier.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait here. You guys go. There's not